Okay. Okay, we in the house, family. Check it out. The general is in the house, family. Come on in. Come to the light. Come to the light. Come to the light, family. The general is in the house, man. We got some fire. We starting off early today now. Starting off early. Yes, indeed. Today we're going to be talking about tropical zone civilizations ruled by blacks. This is very important. This is very important that we drop this because people got these off the wall theories. You feel me? You know, where blacks was all over the world. Yeah, they was, but you could see, where they congregated, in a particular area of the planet. You see, and when you're talking about the equator, when you're talking about the tropical zone, you're talking about uh from the tropics of Capricorn to the Tropic of Cancer. Matter of fact, let me go and get this map up here so we can work out. We got to work out. Make sure y'all get over there to Patreon, family. Click that link. It's in the top of the chat. Get over there and get that work. Now, when you look at here, when you see what's up, Black Power family? Of course, Java is also in there. You already know. We talking about in the red is the tropical zone. And when you talk about the tropical zone, you talking about, the most prolific, the most prolific civilizations. And Egypt is not in the but it was the child of the tropical zone, civilizations. And so it's an extension that but you got to start from the equator, which is the spine of the planet. You see, when we get to talking about the chakras, when you talk about the spine, the chakras is aligned to the spine, and so the equator is the spine of the planet. Yeah, you will see that most of life is in this area. Okay, when you start talking about animal life, when you start talking about the most luscious and paradises on the planet, the tropical zone, the rainforest, all across from the Amazon to the Congo into South Pacific Asia, Indonesia, Southern China, Cambodia, Burma, or Myanmar. What else? We got Vietnam. You got all that over there, Papua New Guinea. But we're gonna highlight some because it's a pattern here now. Knowing that the chakras are closer to the spine of the planet, the equator. And so, you get a lot of energy in this area above and beyond any other place on the planet. That's a fact. That's a fact. So the chakras of the planet are more closely aligned to the equator. Okay, mostly aligned to the equator. And so let's dig into some of these civilizations. Now, of course, already in Africa, we can go there. Wait, matter of fact, let me get out of this. This ain't the one I wanted. Okay, it's behind here somewhere. Where it go? Okay, here you go. Here you go. Come on over here so I can see you. Now, of course, you got Aksum, but when you talking about the Tropic of Cancer. Okay, let me see. You see, okay, good. We in the house. Let me make sure it's looking good. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Okay. You talking about Aksum. You also talking about Nubia. The Tropic of Cancer does go into Egypt. So southern Egypt is in the tropical zone. When you get down near Aswan, you're in the tropical zone at that point. Once you drop south of the Tropic of Cancer, you are in the tropical zone. And you can see right up here, right below the Sahara, you see the Tropic of Cancer. And so you got you got Aswan, ancient Nubia, you got Aksum, you see how many let me see what civilizations in the tropical zone in Africa. You got Kerma, which is in Nubia. Kingdom of Kush, Napata, Meroe, Aksum. You got Punt. You also in West Africa, you got the Naga culture. You got Janine, Ghana, Mali, Songhai. All of those are in the tropical zone. You see the tropical zone, and so it's so many. Benin, Congo, Great Zimbabwe. It's so many. Yoruba civilization, Ife, in in the western hemisphere, you talking about the Olmec. And we gonna, matter of fact, let me get on the world. Let me get back. I'm gonna come across so y'all can see. Let me stay to the map. So when you talking about over here, you got most definitely Angkor Wat, which is today modern Cambodia. You got Vietnam, which would have been Champa. Now I'm gonna show you that. Let me show you that. Now what ancient Vietnam was called Champa. Okay, it was right next to Angkor Wat. And so it's a lot of magnificent monuments. I could show you a few. Now this is a Champa statue, and you can see again, you see the African in the facial features. You can see that. And if you go over there now, you will see them in the South, but they won't get no publicity like that. They ain't gonna put them on TV and show them to the world. And so that's the Champa. Okay, and wait a minute, let me see if I can get some of the architecture. This is another Champa statue, and you could clearly see the wide nose, the thick. And people say, well, everybody know this. When you see all the damn statues look like that, that's another thing. It's not an individual. It's a racial thing. And so when you start seeing a whole bunch of people walking around with wide noses and big lips, you already know what it is. This is African people, and you can see here, this is in Vietnam. So they left something. When I get to talking to these Negroes over, and I'm gonna bring that out. I must bring that out because this is science. If you were over here and you was doing something, what did you leave? Because everywhere I go, and I've been studying, history now for over damn near 30 years, man. 30 years on a professional level. On a professional level. You feel me? Well, I could take my skill anywhere in the fucking world and razzle dazzle. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have so many PhDs say, Seti, man, you taught me. I'm talking about PhDs. So I know that what I'm saying is right and exact. I studied the methodology of the masters, and so I don't need to go to no white man school to learn how to do this. This was something I was naturally, meant to do. Everybody got their natural calling. This was my natural calling. You see, so I know where to go, and I always show the proof. Proof number one, you can argue whatever the fuck you want. It's here. It's here. You can't deny the fact that it's here. So when I say, where's your artifacts, and show up, it's show and tell. You can't come to show and tell with nothing to show. You feel me? So this is in Vietnam, Champa, and you can see you can see the pyramid is also there, showing that the African culture, the pyramid, and a lot of people say, well, no, this is what they want to do to hide the fact that there was continuity of the global Kushite empire, and you can look and once you break down the architecture, you can see that it's the same temple in many instances. And yeah, they might put, some different aesthetics on the outside, but it's primarily when you look at the blueprint, many of these ancient temples are on the same blueprint. Now, also, when we're talking about in the tropical zone. No, we got to stay to the tropical zone because that's where life started. There's no other place for it to have started but in the tropical zone. And okay, and so that's where when you go anywhere in the world, matter of fact, let's go back up here. When you talk about the majority of the animals on the planet is in that zone right there. Period. That's where life started. That's where life, and that's where most of life is on the planet right now. Do you see any part of America in that? You got to make that shit make sense. That just like when you look over in Russia and shit, ain't nothing going on over there. Wasn't nothing going on over there. The further you get away from the equator, you see, the further you less and less, because it becomes harder for a motherfucker to survive. The further you move, when you closer to the equator, you closer to the tropical zone, it's food everywhere. You see, even if it don't make no difference what you want to eat. You know what I'm saying? You might want to eat a damn a giraffe. You might want whatever kind of burger you want. You can get whatever kind of burger you want. If you want you a goddamn giraffe burger, you can get you a giraffe. You want a rhinoceros burger, you can get you a hippopotamus burger or ostrich burger, any kind of goddamn burger you want. You see, it's there for you. Rabbit, you got gazelle. In Asia, you got a lot of different animals. So it's in this region, and you got water. Now, let me drop something here because I didn't put that over here. I didn't put that over there. Wait a minute. Where's that military geography at? Oh, this is me. Okay. Well, it's down here. Let me show y'all. Let me show y'all. Because when you talking about great civilization, first and foremost, in order to have a great civilization, you got to have a food source. You got to have proper food source to feed a large civilization. You got to have food. So let's get back in here. Let's get back in here. Okay, let me get back. Okay, here we go. So you see Africa, you see all the animals that's in Africa, world renowned. Now that's showing proof that, in Asia got a lot of animals too, but the most popular animals on the planet come out of Africa, without a doubt. The giraffe, you got the lion, you got the zebra, you got the leopard, you got the cheetah, you got the elephant, you got the rhinoceros, you got the hippopotamus, and you got some more animals. You know what I'm saying? Now the thing about, and so you see that's life. That's life, and it's in the tropical zone where the majority of these animals stay. Now another thing about Africa is them freshwater lakes. Africa got the second largest freshwater lakes on the planet. Okay, I had that. Where is that at? I think I pushed it up here somewhere. If I didn't, I had it. I had it up here somewhere, and it got away from me. Okay. That's all right. I ain't gonna chase it down right now. But that's one I believe that's Lake Tanganyika. And so these freshwater lakes in Africa have the most freshwater fish life on the planet. You see, on the planet. So we lining this up. A lot of people keep talking about how much and over here in America or anywhere else. You do not have a food source that can match the food source of Africa. It's just impossible I don't know where where you get your statistics from, but that's, somebody been lying to you. Here you go right here. That's not really it, but that's it. That'll do it. You got Lake Malawi, you got Lake Tanganyika, you got Lake Victoria, the criminally renamed Lake Victoria. You got Lake Turkana, you got Lake Kivu, you got Lake I think you got Lake what's it, Albert. Now these is all renamed lakes. So that whole system right there is fresh water. And so behind the freshwater lakes of Michigan, or Michigan, this is the second largest freshwater lake system on the planet. But here you have the largest variety of freshwater fish on the planet amongst them. And Lake Victoria, these is tropical lakes. These are the largest tropical lakes on the planet. Even though it's the second largest freshwater lake system, this is the largest tropical lakes on the planet. Unlike the Amazon, they don't have that. So when you start comparing, because you got the Amazon rainforest, Africa got the second largest rainforest system in the world, but Africa has these freshwater lakes, and it's right on the other side. It's right on. So this is what you would call the Garden of Eden by far. By far. So you can eat. I mean, look at the fish. Look at the animal. You can eat. And so and not only that, when you start thinking about the freshwater or the tropical the rainforest, it's all the herbs, all the medicines that's in that tropical forest. This was the healing, the hospital of the world. It's the lungs of the world. And so it's over 10,000 something species of different plants. It's over 10,000 something species of different animals that exist in this rainforest, both the Amazon and the Congo. And over in all these rainforests is full of life. So where it started from. It's not even a comparison. And the fact that you got that fresh air, because these are considered this is where you're getting your oxygen from. So, this is where you're getting your oxygen from. So, of course, this is the most magnificent. And so if you see right here, let me see if I could do this right quick. And then I'm gonna if you can see the rain, why did it do that? Let me do this again. Let me do this again. Okay. I'm gonna cut this off. So you can see it side by side, and you can see this. But this is where civilization started. This is where once you have secured your food source, you have leisure to think. You have leisure to do things outside of hunting and growing food. And so when you're in an area where the food is just there for you, got to hunt for it now. But then they went into growing their food, and then they put particular peoples, just like farmers, and while the other scientists was doing the science, then they had particular peoples that would do the agriculture. So when you see them side by side, you see the freshwater lakes and you see the tropical zone. There's no other place on the planet that can give you that. Nowhere on the planet. And that's why it was so significant. That's why the ancient Egyptians called this the Taneteru, the land of the gods and goddesses. You see? But again, once you understand that, and then when you get in that tropical zone, as you could see, when you look at Africa, man, just so many, the different gems, because, we into gems, you know what I'm saying? We use the gem. If you go up on the internet and they show you all the different gems and all the powers that they possess, imagine these deep minefields in the tropical zone, that got is full of, but it's gems all over the world. But Africa just seemed to be so rich with different gems, different minerals and things. But, you have to understand them. We get certain gems for the powers of those gems. But imagine being in those areas where where there's minefields of nothing but precious gems, and under your feet. See, these is the chakras of the planet. And once you get in, you imagine being up under a field of different, like amethyst and onyx and all these different precious stones. And if you think putting one on your neck is powerful, putting one in a ring, imagine being under the earth and you standing on the earth, and up under you is hundreds and hundreds of different precious minerals, and the energy from the sun is emanating, because they have been colonized. It don't make no damn difference. Yeah, it don't make no difference, Brandon. You just why is the white man still over there, even though they impoverished? Because you got the pale man over there still, colonizing and being an imperialistic brute. Okay, so man, tell me why he's over there still mining. Then you answered the damn question. The same reason why you can go down to South Africa and you got a 7% population with damn near 90% of the goddamn wealth. What kind of question is that? You can answer it. You can answer that, Brandon. You know damn well what your people down there doing. Answer that. You just answered the question. If they get rid of them goddamn Neanderthals that's in there pillaging, then they wouldn't they wasn't in poverty in the ancient world, because we see civilizations all through there. Only when the Neanderthals showed up, pillaged and burnt down these civilizations, where you find the desolate lands that you see today, and not all of them are desolate. They're making a comeback. Yeah. But anyway, it don't make no damn difference, Brandy. The only part of America that's in the tropical zone is the southern tip of the United States, down in Florida. Down in Florida is where you find. So you could come up. I don't want to hear nothing about nothing. Show up. This is show and tell. Just like I show you, civilization stone megaliths that's been left by these civilizations. I won't hear nothing about no commentary. Just show up with the evidence, or stay on up out of here. This is show and tell, and you cannot show up to show and tell with nothing to show. Okay, real. But anyway, family, I appreciate y'all being here today. We're gonna keep it moving. Why the tropical zone is the heart of all civilization, and we'll get on the Olmecs too, because they show and prove that they are Nile Valley civilization. The Olmecs is a Nile Valley civilization. Yes, it is. Sorry. Come up out the comic books, come out the occult. When you get to the facts of the matter, which we will do throughout our course over here. Yeah, we're in the house. They came for. You understand what I'm saying? You can't, you can't show up to show and tell with a story. I don't want to hear nothing about no show me the physical monuments. That's first and foremost. That's going to tell majority of the story right there. And once you start running to, narrative and all of that before you show up with the physical monuments, that means you ain't got none. And that means you wasn't in league with the great civilizations of the world. I'm sorry, because they left something. I'm sorry to tell you that. Anyway, I'm going to get up off of here. We coming black now. Get over to Patreon. Click that link at the top of the chat and get over there and get that work, family. I'll see y'all black here in a minute. Let me come back on in. Yeah, but come on back, Brandon. I'm going to keep beating you up. All right. Black Pop.